guys, it's Izzy here, and today we are going to be doing my January book haul, looking at all the books that I acquired in the month of January. So in December, I read 9 books, and y'all are like, why is that relevant to a haul? In 2023, I am going to try to limit myself on the books that I'm buying, so I am only allowed to buy the amount of books that I read the previous month. So last month I read 9 books, I was only allowed to buy 9 books. So you're gonna be like, why are there more than 9 books in this video? You can't count. Some of these were gifted and free, so I will say which ones those were. So 2 of these books I did not spend money on, and then the others were ones that I spent money on. I will be sure to say which is which, but I did want to state how I am purchasing my books in 2023. Let's get into it. The first book that came into my possession this year is the Lindbergh Nanny. So this is by Mariah Fredericks. This is one that I did not spend with my own money, at least not this year. So I originally got this book from my grandma for Christmas. She read it. She's like, it's a 5-star. You need to read it. So she gifted it back to me on New Year's. And so, you know, kind of, so it's not counting towards the 9. Now, this is a mystery thriller, but we do have, it's based on a true story, and then is kind of historical fiction as it is in the 1930s. So if you're not aware, so there's this guy, I don't know his first name, Charles Lindbergh. Okay, so he was the first person to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. So he was very famous at that time, obviously making such an accomplishment like that. And he comes back to America and his son gets kidnapped. This is all true, by the way. So the son gets kidnapped, all of that. I don't know a lot more because I do have a nonfiction book literally right there that my grandma got from Book of the Month back like 50 some years ago. So I do have that, and I do want to get to it. So I don't know a ton about this crime, but the baby gets kidnapped and all. So this book is at the nanny's perspective. So let me just tell you a little bit what it's about. So when the most famous toddler in America, Charles Lindbergh Jr., is kidnapped from his family home in New Jersey in 1932, the case makes international headlines. Already celebrated for his flight across the Atlantic, his father, Charles Sr., is the country's golden boy with his wealthy, lovely wife, Anne Morrow Lindbergh, by his side. But there's someone else in the household, Betty Gow, a formerly obscure young woman, now known around the world by another name, the Lindbergh Nanny. And then the Lindbergh Nanny is a powerful, propulsive novel about America's most notorious kidnapping, as seen through the eyes of the woman who found herself at the heart of this deadly crime. So it looks like the kid does get murdered, which is sad. And I think this is still pretty much an unsolved crime. Like, they did like say somebody did it, but there's not, if it was a modern day investigation, it probably wouldn't be that person from what I've heard. But again, I do not know a ton. I just know very basics, but we have that one. I did get a gift card for Christmas to Barnes & Noble, so obviously I had to go use it. I really wanted Cleopatra and Frankenstein. I don't remember who that author's name is. Coco, or is it Chanel? Something. It's not Coco Chanel, but it's one of those words in the name. And then I want to read all the books that were nominated for the Booker Prize. They had one book that was nominated for the Booker Prize, and it was literally the only one that I own and haven't read, or at the time. Kind of frustrating there. So, but I was like, there are a lot of books that I want to read, but I went to Barnes & Noble and only bought 1 book because I'm like, I see a lot of these books that I want to read, but I don't want to buy them right now because they're not books that I think I could absolutely get to at the moment. But this one sounds like something I would write. Is that being pretentious? I don't know, but it just sounds right at my alley. And that is Lessons by Ian McEwan. I love the pinks and oranges. I love the pink-orange combo. A lot of my books that I read this month kind of had a pink-orange theme. But let me tell y'all what this is about. So, when the world is still counting the cost of the Second World War and the Iron Curtain has descended, young Roland Baines' life is turned upside down. He is 2,000 miles from his mother's protective love, stranded at an unusual boarding school when his vulnerability attracts his piano teacher, Miriam Cornell, leaving scars as well as memories of love that will never fade. So this is an epic, mesmerizing, and deeply humane. Lessons is a chronicle for our times, a powerful meditation on history, continuancy through the prism of one man's lifetime. So literally we are starting with post-war and going all the way to the COVID pandemic. So think of how much stuff in history happened in that time period. It is insane, the amount. That's like 3 generations worth of people. I don't know if this is in the UK or what. I am seeing German, England, but obviously after World War II you're going to see a lot of those names. But I cannot wait to pick this one up. And I should say Lessons is one of the 9 books that I am saying I spent money on, because I did spend like $4 on it. The next one is how I told you I would want to read books that were nominated for the Booker Prize. This one was the one that Barnes & Noble had, but I had already ordered on Amazon. On Amazon, I always get my books through Thrift Books on there, so always at a discount, because this book, used, and literally looks this good, looks brand new. So this is Glory by No Violet Bulawayo. This is actually historical fiction. I thought it was going to be literary fiction, but when I did my ASMR haul, which came out on my ASMR channel last week, so be sure to check out my ASMR channel. I'll link it down below. But let's see what Glory is about. So from the award-winning author of the Booker Prize finalists, we need new names, an exhilarating novel about the fall of an oppressive regime and the chaos and opportunity that rises in its wake. Although Zimbabwe is the immediate inspiration for this thrilling story, Glory was written in a time of global clamor, with the resistant movements across the world challenging different forms of oppression. Thus, it often feels that Bulawayo captures several places in one blockbuster allegory, crystallizing a turning point in history with a texture and nuance only the greatest fiction can. I think that is really important when how this just takes place in Zimbabwe, but we can all, as humans, relate to what happened there. I'm assuming, because I don't know anything, we can all relate to that. And I think this is at the point of view of animals, which I'm kind of hesitant about. I've only really read 2 books, Animal Farm, and that was in school, so it was quite a while ago. It's the one about a well. It's a girl who is deaf but can feel vibrations. Obviously you can feel vibrations. And it's like wells, like A Song for a Well, is that it? I think. But I do really like that middle grade and do recommend it. But this is Glory, and I did pay for this book. Next, we have We Are Completely Beside Ourselves by Karen Joy Fowler, another used one from Amazon that I did pay for myself. This is from the author of Booth, and I absolutely love Booth, one of my favorite books from last year, so I want to read everything that this author has written, so I went ahead and bought another book, and luckily this one's a short one. Meet the Cook family, mother and dad, brother Lau, sister Fern, and Rosemary, who begins her story in the middle. She has her reasons. I was raised with a chimpanzee, she explains. I tell you, Fern is a chimp, and already you aren't thinking of her as my sister. Until Fern's expulsion, she was my twin, my full house mirror, my whirlwind other half. I loved her as a sister. As a child, Rosemary never stopped talking. Then something happened and Rosemary dropped herself in silence. And We Are Completely Beside Ourselves, Karen Joy Fowler weaves her most accomplished work to date, a tale of loving but fallible people whose well-intentional actions lead to heartbreaking consequences. Love Karen Joy Fowler's character work, and then just her narrative writing and everything is fantastic, so I cannot wait to pick up. The next one is a new release. I did want to buy at least 1 or 2 new releases this month, and that is One Brilliant Flame by Joy Castro. So this is a historical fiction, my first 2023 book that I've bought. And it says, Key West, 1886, the blooming cigar industry makes it the most prosperous city in Florida. As a rebel base for the anti-colonial insurgency in Cuba, it's also a tinderbox for 6 young friends with ambitious dreams. Against the backdrop of the Great Fire of Key West, One Brilliant Flame explores the luminous fates of consuming passion and encroaching peril in the face of insurrection, sacrifice, and inextinguishable hope. I love Florida. It's my favorite one. I'm not going to say it's my favorite because there is also Texas, but Florida is one of my favorite settings to read from. I love the state of Florida. It's just warm all the time, and honestly I just want warm weather. And Key West is a very cool place. It's really different. I don't want to say it's different from like anywhere I've ever been, because I feel like it is a very touristy place. There's a different vibe there, but I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe, but I don't know anything really about its history. I've only been there in the 2010s, so I don't know much about it except Hurricane City. I know Hemingway has a house there and I went to it and I got to pet all these cats that had 6 toes. Yeah. But this one. Then we have my book of the month picks. So one of these was free and then I had to pay $10.99 for the others. So we have Queen of Thieves by B.Z. Marsh. This is a historical fiction set in post-war London. I've really been wanting to read, or I'm really fascinated by post-war times at the moment. I haven't really been able to find exactly what I want, but this is close enough. So this is an electrifying historical adventure about a ring of bold and resourceful female thieves in post-World War II London. Gangland was a man's world, the women knew different. As Noah embraces the spoils of crime and the seedy underbelly of London, will she manage to carve out her own path to powers and riches? Might she even crown herself the Queen of Thieves? So yeah, I stayed away from World War II fiction for a while because I feel like it gets repetitive. It's the one thing people love to write about. I don't know why. I've never written anything World War II. I personally write more World War One, but I haven't in years actually, but it's something that I am looking to get back into. But I am also looking to get into writing something about post-war Britain, and that is why I want to read stuff, to get inspiration, to see other people's stories and all. But this one, since it's post-war, it really stood out to me rather than being in the war, and then it's a woman's perspective in England. Next we have my add-on, and that is The Light Pirate by Lily Brooks Dalton. This is science fiction and again has a Florida setting, so that's why I picked it up. And then I love dystopians. So a story of survival and resilience spanning one woman's lifetime as she navigates the uncertainty, brutality, and arresting beauty of a rapidly changing world. Told in 4 parts, power, water, light, and time, The Light Pirate mirrors the rhythms of the elements and sometimes quick, sometimes slow dissolution of the world as we know it. It is a meditation on the changes we would rather not see, the future we would rather not greet, and a callback to the beauty and violence of an untamable wilderness. So Florida, dystopian, give me that. And the last thing I got from Book of the Month is Rules of Civility by Amor Tolls. This is a book of Book Olive's favorite book, so I do like her recommendations. But I read The Lincoln Highway by this author and I didn't love it. I did not connect with the characters, the plot I didn't really care for, but I loved the writing. And I've heard that if you don't like The Lincoln Highway, there's a better chance you'll like the author's 2 previous work, because there's a lot of people who love these 2 but then don't like The Lincoln Highway, and then vice versa. So hopefully I do like this. So this is historical fiction. So on the last night of 1937, 25-year-old Katie Content is in a second-rate Greenwich Village jazz bar with her boarding house roommate, stretching $3 as far as it will go when Tinker Gray, a handsome banker with royal blue eyes and a tempered smile, happens to sit at the neighboring table. This chance encounter and its startling consequences propel Katie on a year-long journey from a Wall Street secretarial pool towards the upper echelons of New York society and the executive suites of Condé Nast. Rarefied environs, she will have little to rely upon other than bracing wit and her own brand of cool nerve. So readers will quickly fall under the spell of this sophisticated and entertaining novel with its sparkling depiction of New York's social strata, its intricate imagery and themes. It's finely crafted unfolding of the unforeseen, and its immense appealing heroine, a character you will not soon forget. So that sounds promising. Let's hope it's better than The Lincoln Highway though. And the last book that I purchased this month, again I purchased for myself, but it was 20% off. It's a new release and it's Target's book club pick of January, and that is In the Time of Our History by Suzanne Perry. So this sweeping multi-generational saga transports readers into the world of the Jahani family, Iranian immigrants grappling with the future, their traditions as an American-born daughter steps outside her expected role, shaking loose their foundations and their secrets in a novel that possesses larger questions about the meaning of marriage, motherhood, and starting anew, even as we long for places we once called home. Alive with the tensions, sacrifices, and joys that thrum within the heart of every family, and the In the Time of Our History is also laced with the richness of ancient and modern Persian culture and politics in a tale that is both timeless and profoundly relevant. I think that's so important that books are timeless and relevant. But I love multi-generational, and this just has so many themes that I am fascinated by, and it is a new release, as I said, and I do want to read new releases, and I meant to say the genre, it is historical fiction. I love this cover, absolutely beautiful, and it is floppy. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, comment, rate, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. And if you made it all the way through this video, leave a bird emoji in the comments below, any bird that you want. But I will see you in the next one. Bye!